Hello, good morning here in Dubai. I'm ChiMing Peng and Secretary General of Taiwan Climate Partnership. And the TCP is organized by the major leading international ICT company, for example, TSMC, Acer, ASUS, AUO, Delta. We organize together and we have a pavilion here in COP28, talking about lots of the issue, ICT, supply chain, climate change, and the most important thing is the adaptations, especially the disaster, because what we know, climate change is a very long-term shift and possible a trend of spanning decades, which many people are indifferent to. So, however, the short impact of the climate change, such as heavy rain and heat wave, is immediate and affect everyone. So if we are not well prepared, how can we discuss the climate crisis? So the short term is very, very important. So that's why we have the session today. So our session topic is adaptation to climate change, innovative approaches and the disaster preparedness and the emergency response. We have 5 speakers, very important speaker from Taiwan, from New Taipei City, and also from the UK, Coventry University, and also from National Taiwan University, and also from Brussels. We have 2 persons from Belgium, Brussels, joined together to talk about these issues. I'm ChiMing Peng. Right now I'm in Dubai Blue Zone area. Our pavilion is our very important pavilion because the adaptation is so important. And right now, later on, the WMO, World Meteorological Organization, they also have almost the same topic. They talk about early warning, especially the heavy rain. So such kind of topic is really, really very important to climate change issues. That's why we have the side event here in COP28. We hope we can have more outcome to help the other country. How can we do in the future, especially the best practice? So we have 5 speakers. The first speaker, I would like to invite Dr. Huang, and he is Chief Executive Officer of Office of Disaster Management, New Taipei City. And actually, our organization, TCP, work with the New Taipei City Fire Department for a long time. And we will welcome Dr. Huang, and later on, we will have another speaker who can join us. Okay, Dr. Huang, the floor is yours, please.
Thank you, host. Ladies and gentlemen, today I'm Huang. I was as the Executive Secretary of the City Government Disaster Management. Today, presenting the city, I'd like to show how our city responds to rain and floods using a spatial system known as the emergency management system. IRS, the emergency data called it EDP. As we know, disasters are a global concern in any community or the world. In recent years, 2 disasters have inspired us to come more frequent due to the fact such as running. The city, given its geographical position, is particularly vulnerable to disasters. Hence, we have proactive measures to ensure the city's capability to readiness for emergency response. Showing our experience, we can learn the collectively work towards keep our cities resilient. I would like to express my gratitude. Thanks. Here today. I look forward to active and informative. My next colleague Chia.
Dr. Huang, please, sorry, because I think that there was some technical issue about the signal. So can we move because lots of, in our side, the sound is quite loud. Probably we can check it and later on. And probably our meeting room
micro check
with the Taipei.
Can you hear me? It's Gary from New Taipei City. Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's okay.
It's
right now.
Now?
It's okay.
So I think we can continue with the New Taipei City experience. Is that okay for you?
Okay. Right now, so can we move to the beginning, the start from the Dr. Huang? Yeah.
Okay.
And also, I found again. Slide you did not switch to the next page. I don't know why. Probably you can check it. If it's okay, we can go on. Please.
I think we just continue the presentation because Dr. Huang, he introduced the presentation. So Gary will continue with the presentation. Is that okay for you, Dr. Peng?
Yeah, it's okay. The sound right now is okay. Good. Please, the floor is yours.
Okay, let's move. So the New Taipei City want to share about the climate adaptation in action because the rainfall and floods emergency preparedness and response in New Taipei City. So it's online. We will set two parts. First one will share about the mechanism of floods and rainfall emergencies. Second part about our smart city, including emergency management information system and emergency data platform called EMS and EDP that we cooperate with lots of different sectors. So it's the background for New Taipei City. We have more than 4 million population, and we have mountains, and the size of New Taipei City is over 2,000 square kilometers, and we have more than 130 seashore, and so may have fires, typhoon, heavy rain, floods, landslides, heat waves, earthquake, and we have 2.5 nuclear power plants in New Taipei City. So we have to do many things to prepare. And according to the climate change, so the typhoon, global warming, and floods and heat wave is also part of it's very critical for emergency response during this time. And we can see some international reports about climate change. And we have other parties here because the New Taipei City is cooperate with different departments. I will introduce them later. Yeah. So the heavy rain in the afternoon, we cooperate with consultant called weather risk. We cooperate with them, and weather risk provide the probability of heavy rain in the morning, and when the probability exceeds 40%, in the afternoon, the EOC of New Taipei City will send a high-risk warning notification to some hotspots. And there are different forecast analysis tools. We use the European models, American models, and of course Taiwan, the Central Weather Administration, Taiwan's model, and also the consultant weather risk model to check every more information can help a decision maker make decision easier. So we check different source of information, and we will share a real life case. It's this year on August 10th. We can see the photo on the left of the slide. There are color bars shows the probability. From the white one is under 20%, and the purple one is over 21%. And on that day, you can see purple and red. That means high probability in the afternoon. And on the photo on the right of the slides, you can see the mayor. He's on the right side, and the fire commissioner on the left side. And in the middle is the consultant from weather risk. talking about the real situation in the afternoon. And we can see the situation on that day. It's Taiwan. So on that event, there were 40 cases. And about the forecast, we have to do validation and verifications. So we collect cases from 2018 to 2022, more than 900 cases. And we can see the accuracy of the SDIR, short-term rainfall, intense rainfall forecast is the accuracy is over 90%. Sounds it's quite reliable. Yeah. So in the end, because we have the reliable information, so New Taipei City have a plan for rainfall disaster prevention and response plan and cooperate with like Water Resource Department, 水利局. We also have our Water Resources Departments and our Environmental Protection Departments staff also here. And very important is in economic development, 经发局, 环保局, and 城乡 the urban and suburban development departments also here in New Taipei City EOC now to talk about this situation later during panel discussions. So this is the first part one, and we can see this disaster management cycles from the left down bottom. It from the mitigation by enhancement of flood control facilities, and on the upper left it's flood preparedness, and it's a disaster management cycles. So from mitigation to response and post-disaster management, and again back to the mitigation. And our Water Resource Department, 水利局, we have to share information based on forecast and do something prepared for like water reservoir or river check or like sewage check to prevent the heavy rain. We cannot prevent heavy rain, but during the heavy rain comes, the water flow will be easier to not accumulate to some hotspots. So thanks for our staff from Water Resource Departments. And then second part of the presentation is about smart city things, focus on our emergency management information system and data platform, because for emergency responses, we have to collect more information and share together to do the same thing, to see the same objective, to do some things cooperate together. So information collection and sharing the right information is very important. I want to save time, so I use this one to share. So EMIS is on the upper one. It's collect from, like we are reporting lines from like a 110, it's from police department, because we have some guests from the United States in EOC now. So let me describe this clearly. So the reporting line is 110 for police officers, 119 for emergency, like fire and emergency medical service. And the upper right is 1999, it's civil service codes. That means you can call 1999 for every kind of service by New Taipei City, but just in New Taipei City. You can call it in Taipei City, still connect to New Taipei City. And so all these sources will collect all information about disaster incident, we'll say incident, to the EMIS to measure it. And the bottom photo is called EDP, Emergency Data Platform. It's a way to make visual data for policymaker like Mayor Ho. He will sit here. It's New Taipei City EOC. He's here to see EDP to make decision, say collect information faster and make decision easier. So we call this emergency operation center with the 3E. First E is on the, we can see the right hand of the slide. The upper one is EMS for first responders, not only firefighters, but also police officers or like civil servants in the administrative district in the first line. Then the EDP will show the visual data to policymakers. And the bottom one is easy to know. That's for civil, for the civilians. So we have this, from the incident to decision makers to the public. It's a chain. And so EMIs, just I mentioned, during COVID-19, also EMIs help lots for New Taipei City. And because to build this information system is cannot only based on New Taipei City, so New Taipei City cooperates with central government, like Central Weather Administrative or NCDR, National Center of Disaster Reduction. It's a research center for central government. And the visualization and interaction will be easier to understand, to face hazard or different multiple instances. So the same platform means everyone, not only the mayor, but also the administrative district chief can see the same image and the same thing. Check everyone are on the same page. So also it's based on web design, so you can use your smartphone like or your tablet or notebook. It's okay. You can access anywhere by different devices. So it's a technical one, so I just passed that because information still needs cybersecurity. So cybersecurity is also part of what we did. And this is EDP's screen. The mayor and the administrative chief will see the same one for like disaster, or we can see on the map is the green one is the incident just solved. And we can see stars on the map is mean the major incident also solved. If it's not solved, it will be red. So these systems provide all hazard decision making easier. So we have some internal benefits for us to do something quickly, and also external benefits to share to like the first line or to the central government to check everyone for this incident on the same page. And also our EDP got some awards, not because the awards are important, it's because EDP is important. That's why we got awarded. So also EMIs also got awarded. So that's why we cooperate with different things. I only put some disaster management QR code here. I really suggest two websites. You can see the left on bottom one is the you know everything. It's for civilians, and on the upper right it's for daily weather forecast. If we do not care tomorrow's weather, how can we talk about the situation 2050? So every daily weather forecast is also important. Finally, it's going to be Christmas, and New Taipei City have a happy Christmas, Christmas land. So it's till 2024, January 1st. So friends, you can still buy tickets to visit us in New Taipei City. Yeah, thank you for your listening.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Huang, and also Dr. Xiao. A very wonderful talk. And I have a short question to you. Actually, you mentioned lots of the digital tool, for example, EMIS and also EDP. And it's totally match our digital cross screen and digital cross screen and also digital cross disaster. So I'm wondering, EMIS, just I know EMIS and also the EDP got lots of the international big prize. And however, how they contribute the New Taipei City's preparedness and respond to heavy rain emergency. Is any kind of the you can choose a example how these two systems can help the heavy rain.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Peng. Can you hear me? It's Gary from New Taipei City. So if you want to see real case, actually, I think the most important, we have 2 points of view. First, collect instant situation faster, because New Taipei City is the biggest city in Taiwan. So situations, not only floods, but also other situations. So the information system provides an easier way to collect different situations and collect, and we will categorize to something might not be priority 1. Something should be priority 1 to respond first. So collect, categorize is the first important part of EMIS and EDP. Second one is that with all the information we got, we can share our limited resources like firefighters, fire officers, because we have limited time. Time is also a resource. So we have to check what limited resources and limited time to separate them to priority 1 instant. So let me summarize again. 1, collect and categorize the incidents. Second, separate our resources reasonably. That's very important to functions. Thank you.
Dr. Xiao, very wonderful talk. And I think the digital is very, very important for the preparedness of especially the disaster. So the digital is very important. So I would like to give the floor to Dr. Professor Yun-Fang. And she is a senior lecturer of the Coventry University in UK. Hello, Dr. Chen. The floor is yours, please. What time is it in UK now?
Yeah, hello, thank you very much. I'm hoping you can see the slides I started to share. Thank you very much.
Please.
Okay, fantastic. First of all, thanks a lot for the community to invite me to give a talk for this occasion, very special occasion. And then today I'm going to look into how do we link with the disaster risk reduction with sustainable goals, and also looking into how we can align in these national strategies with civic society. So first of all, I go to these slides. I'm hoping you can see the next slide. So the topic we are going to cover today is to look into the DRR and SDGs, and then also linking national strategies with the international framework and how we can apply it to the civic society. So if we can come back to see what is it about for the Sendai framework. So we started in 2015. The national states, they started to sort of formulate this Sendai framework for action, and then they lay out 4 priorities to look into how we can reduce the disaster risk reduction. So the first priority is understand the disaster risks. So I think the previous presentation looking into how we can actually understand forecasting the weather situation, that is one part of these priorities. And then the second part is looking into how do we strengthening the DRR governance and also manage disaster risk. And I think it is still focused more at the sort of more centralized level, but now they started to focus put it down into the local level or regional level. But then looking to the priority 3, investing in DRR reduction for resilience, and then priority 4, the preparedness and also how to build back better. We can see that the priority started to look into how can we transfer from the national sort of level strategies, looking into how we can enhance the communities. And then we can see that actually since 2015 we started to promote a kind of whole society approach, and also looking into how we can utilize a participants approach and a community-based approach to deliver this DRR. And then one of the hidden strategy is actually risk communication. And then so here we can look into how actually the higher education help out. But before we talk about the higher education, we can come back to see then how do we link the Sendai framework with SDGs. And actually we can see from the UNDRR website, this clearly link that actually we can see there are several, 25 targets directly linked with the DR. So 10 of the 17 SDGs are relevant to Sendai framework. And I think if you, for example, if you can see that how can we have a build back better strategy within the communities, of course, we need to start to look into how we can reduce the vulnerability. So we need to tackle the poverty issue. We need to look into the hunger, the food security issue, food safety issue. And then, of course, we look into the good health and well-being. So all of these. And then, of course, if we are looking into the risk communication, the education will be really important. And also number 13, the climate action is also important because it's one of the the tasks for this climate action is about how we can educate, how we can engage with more population to understand the impact and also the situation of this climate change. So here we can see that if once we set out this kind of framework, so how do we align the national strategy and the plans with these DRR strategies or with the SDGs? And then we can see that actually, if we are looking into the picture on the right hand side, then we can see that, we need to engage with different stakeholders. We need to look into, how we can actually working together from the national government to the local government, but also look into how we can then link with the civil societies, NGOs or communities, or, engage with other organizations, etc. So we can have a look. So in the UK, I think to be able to really capture with all these sustainable goals, their strategy is that at the national level, they utilize, they assign a different department to be able to capture, the evidence and also activities to meet these goals. And then there are some challenges, of course, because, you can see that if, too many diverse sort of departments, they might not have a shareable sort of situation. And also, we also have the the government restructure, and then so the responsible department has become separated or dismissed. So this is one of the consistent issues. But in any way, we are looking into that when we wanted to look into the policy alignment and then how we can link with the civil societies. And I think soon as our Prime Minister just talked about, we need to utilize a more pragmatic way to look into the climate change and also looking into how we can engage with the people's participation. I think he gave the talk, a few days ago in Dubai as well. And then so what we need to do is to really look into how we can link the strategies with the private sector, with the civil society, with local communities, and also down to individuals. And then we are trying to look into how we can utilize this button-up approach to make sure that the whole strategies are aligned together. So have a look of what do we do in the UK. So in the UK in 2020 they publish a voluntary report to look into how well they have done this SDG, how well they have reached the SDG goals. And then so the capture information until 2019. Actually we can see that in goal number 13, the climate action, we can see the improve, especially I focus more on the improved education, awareness raising, and human institutional capacity and climate change mitigation, adaptation, impact reduction, and early warning. Why do I want to look at this? Because I think that is directly linked with education sectors. And then we can see that in the UK, if we are looking into this, extent to which global citizen education and education for SDGs actually is not good enough, right? Only 40% of the education cover this bit. And if we look into the extent to which global education, cover for this sustainable development in the curriculum, a little bit better, but I think there are scope that we can improve. Yeah, and I think they are looking into the sort of primary and secondary school and educations. But somehow, if we look into the into higher education, is even more limited. But somehow, which is good, is that if we look into the global education and the education for sustainable development, mentoring in student assessment, maybe it's good because we try to link it within the curriculum. But somehow, how can we improve, how can we increase this impact, how can we engage better from the higher education so the perspective, and I think our vice chancellor, from Coventry University, he also gave a talk last week in Dubai to look into, how we, to explain that we should be able to, to encourage the youth to engage with these SDG goals, to engage with the climate change actions, and then so of course for the higher education we do have that responsibility to engage better with the society. We have the responsibility looking into how we can increase with these curriculums. So here I wanted to share with you some of the initiatives, from Coventry University. So first of all, we do disaster risk awareness raising at schools. So I think this we have the project started from 2013, and then we work with schools in Taiwan in the high risk areas. We also work with New Taipei City. So we try to help to promote, disaster risk awareness, and then so we can see that students normally they go to Taiwan for some time and as a part of a placement or internship. And then so I think from 2013 until now, we have almost 70 students engaged with this project, and then we have more than 70 schools participating in this project as well. And then, and very proud, I think, over these 10 years, and we have about 10,000 people have been reached of these education. So normally the idea is that, I think you can see the picture, we try to engage with students at primary school or secondary school to look into to raise awareness of risks and look into how, apart from, in addition to the risk awareness, we also look into how they can prepare for themselves, how they can mitigate potential risk at home, and then they can bring back that information back to their parents. Then we also deliver, we also promote the participants' central approach for disaster risk reduction. So we generate one of the model, okay, to look into how we can engage better with the participants. Yeah, we use a button-up approach. We utilize kind of a non-destructive learning approach to engage with the participants, and then we wanted to make sure that the co-create methods, co-learning methods are utilized. So when we run the workshop, for example, this picture here. So we utilize the different ways to facilitate the participants to engage with the dialogues, with the conversation. So we have started to promote this method from 2018, and then we also promote this share the information. I think we share that with our Congress network, which is the higher education network in the European countries, and then for who have the disaster risk courses. And then we also share these with a joint research center under Knowledge Center for Disaster Risk Management in European Commission. And then I think we receive pretty good feedback. Of course, we also engage with the communities in the UK as well, and I think the feedback include that in this method enable participation element of risk communication, because it's really good to enhance that interoperabilities and also engage with the communities. And then because of the playfulness that enable the shareable learning, share mental model building, and then also we can really utilize different materials like recycled stuff or Legos or other elements for improve the innovations. And then it's a shared learning experience, and also we also have the positive impact on student or participants experience. So I think this is a really nice way for promote the disaster risk awareness, and then also enhance the purpose of risk communication. And of course, in addition to that, after COVID, we started to look into how we can continue with the practice, and then we started to utilize the collaborative online international learning. So one of the example is that we work with the Central University of in the South Africa. So we Central University of Technology in South Africa, and then we collaborate with them, and we started to look into how we can actually broadening that risk communication online. And then so we started to utilize a series of a program to facilitate students from both sides to be able to share the information. And I think just capture the the urgency and the need of the COVID. And actually on the picture on the right hand side, these are the sort of co-create elements or collaborative work done by students from both universities. And then of course then we are able to compare the settings arrangement between the UK and South Africa for COVID-19. In addition to that, I think we also, Coventry University, we engage, proactively engage the communities. We work with the communities. We work with the local resilience forums. So it's equivalent to emergency services, around the world. So we try to utilize sort of hybrid methods to deliver the emergency response exercise with them. And then so we utilize, for example, here you can see that we have the XVR sort of platform. So we are able to generate that scenario to display, to the participants, to display that high fidelity information. And then but somehow we also combine with the live exercise, and then also engage with the communities, and then we help to develop that methodology for deliver the exercise. We also develop the methodology for evaluation or assessment of the exercise. And I think this is pretty sort of good model that we can engage with the community, and we can utilize a similar sort of scenario many times and engage with the different community groups. And I think until now, we continue to really engage with a wider audience nationally and internationally. And then we are hoping that we can actually, in response to this, the Sendai framework, and then try to look into, how we can, play as a kind of part of the civic role, part of, the community to respond to, the strategies layout from the Sendai framework and also from the SDG goals. And I think that is my presentation. I think I hit the 15 minutes banner. And thank you very much for the opportunity. And if you are interested, we do have a MSc Disaster Management and MSc in Emergency Management and Resilience in Coventry University. We have the barcode here as well, so please do scan. And I look forward to see you in Coventry. Thank you.
Management about the master program, right? Master degree program.
Sorry, I didn't capture the previous conversation. I think you were muted before.
Okay, sorry. Dr. Chen, you are in Coventry for the master degree about the disaster management program, right?
Yes.
And how the disaster management link with the COP? I remember in COP26, I was in Glasgow, and very limited the issue of talk about the disaster management and the climate change.
Yeah.
Anything changed now?
I think that is something we still need to work on. So I think, for example, in one of my slides, I did say that, the SDG goals, actually, they are closely linked with the disaster risk reduction, is closely linked with the Sendai framework. But somehow on most of the platforms, they only recognize that through the infrastructure building that is a part of DRR. But somehow, we can see that they are 10 of the 17 SDG goals, they are directly linked with DRR. And I think for the Sendai framework, what we try to promote is that if we can take action before a disaster happens, then we can reduce the impact of the loss of human life and the loss of the economic sort of situation. And I think that is where the people, government, or states need to pay more attention to it. And then so that is a direct link with the climate change, direct link with with the SDG goals.
Yeah, for example, in this COP26, actually, in COP27 in Egypt, lots of talk about the early warning and for the developing countries. But by my point of view, before the climate change is long term, we should prepare from the short term. Just the talk the new Taipei City government they did. So such is kind of issue we should have more discussion, because right now just early warning, the definition and the action is very limited. Probably they need our support about that in the future. So such is kind of talk maybe in COP29 to share. Thank you, Dr. Chen, and later on we will have a panelist. And
thank you
right
very
now
much.
I will give the I will give the floor to Dr. Liang Yongjun, and he's a research scientist of the Center of the Weather and Climate Disaster Research, National Taiwan University. Dr. Lin, the floor is yours. No, I cannot hear you. Please unmute. Hello. Yeah, you are muted. Please. Hello. Hello, I cannot hear you. Can you try once again? Once again. No, I cannot hear you. Sorry.
你那个就
Okay, it's okay now. It's okay now. Dr. Lee, it's okay now.
hear my voice?
Yeah. Okay now. Yeah.
Okay. Can you see my slide? Sorry about the technical problem.
Not the slide, please.
Yeah, wait a moment.
Okay, wonderful. Please.
Okay, my slide is to share the information of adapting to climate change, typhoon and flood response strategies in New Taipei City. This is my outline because we know that short duration heavy rain hits, I think, all over the world. So I will share some information about how New Taipei City deal with it and how National Taiwan University to help this issue. Another one is we have typhoon-induced water-related disasters during typhoon seasons. So I will also show you some our collaborations with New Taipei City. And the last one, I will show you a very quick flash flood warning system. The pictures show that we have many hydrological extreme rainfall in New Taipei City. The left one is Typhoon Nisa in 2022. You can see that is a car flooding by an underpass of a bridge. Another one is in Xindian district. It's afternoon thunderstorms in 2000 and this year. So you can see that this kind of situation is more frequently in New Taipei City. How to deal with this short duration heavy rain? Just Dr. Shaw just show of New Taipei City just show that they have information by the weather risk. So they will monitoring in the morning and provide the informations for us. So we can provide like in I think we call a social network. With this social network, we can provide pre-run flooding simulation maps. Because nowadays, if we want to perform the 2D overland flooding simulation, it takes maybe 2 hours. So we provide those pre-run informations to the New Taipei City government. Besides of that, we help to monitoring the CCTVs. You can see that on the bottom right corner is Erchong water gate. Is some flooding in the roads. So we also provide this kind of information to the New Taipei City government. Although I think in the future, they will have some AI technologies because you have so many CCTVs. So this I think is nowadays I think Taiwan will have some technology of AI to automatic to detect the flooding areas. Another one is I think is almost the same because New Taipei City have a system called EDP. Dr. Shaw just showed you, so you can check about the CCTV images. You can see that in the underpass you have flooding image, so we can provide the flooding possible flooding areas for the New Taipei City to take some time to take precaution measures. Another one is for the typhoons. In typhoon, when typhoon comes, the first impact is the coast of the New Taipei City. The first one is the wave. The wave information and the storm surge information by the National Center for Disaster Reduction. Another one is we will use the rainfall from weather risk or from the other agencies in Taiwan, we can provide the river routing predictions for the new Taipei City, because National Taiwan University have models. We can provide those for predictions. There are two reservoirs in New Taipei City, Fei Shui Reservoir and the ChiMing Reservoir. So we also have the inflow forecasting information for the New Taipei City, as well as the landslide possibility based on the rainfall. This one is more detailed. This one is a web propagation forecast. So you can know there are 37 ports along the northern part of, including Keelung City and New Taipei City. So we can provide those information to the harbor's users. Another one is this one is vessel locations. So when typhoon comes, you can see display go back to the harbors and real-time CCTV images. We also have some stone search simulation. This is an example. This one shows a bank with different colors. We have 3 stages. The first one is overbank. The second one is in sufficient freefall, and the third one, green one, is safe. On this map, you can see that this point may be affected by the stone surge and the possible some flooding. And also this one, yellow one, this is a reported flooding spot. So you can tell that in reality, we have some prediction ability to provide useful information to the city. This is another one for the monitoring the CCTVs. I just skip it. And for the reservoirs, if like this reservoir, you can see almost full. It's about 98% full. So when the rainfall accumulates in this upstream of this basin of the reservoir, they maybe have some released water into the river. So the river maybe, this is the info forecasting. For the downstream, they have a rise of the water surface level. In Taiwan, we have a different level of warnings. And like this one and this one, you can see that is over the stress score or warning levels. If the prediction we can provide in advance, the authorities can take corresponding measures. And we also have overland simulation results for urban area. This one is on the cloud. It will operate, it will report 4 times each day. And we have used a different kind of rainfall source. Because nowadays, if you want to promote this kind of simulation, you need a lot of computation resources. So this one is built on the High Performance National Center of Taiwan. This is another example. We have advanced provide this area may be flooded based on the forecasted rainfall in 2012. And this one is a typhoon Solar. This place is flooded and actually is flooded. Although we also have some false alarms. Okay, I think the model is not perfect, but we can still capture some flooding hotspots, and then we can take some precaution measures. And this is another example. I just skip it. And we also use the rainfall for the probability of landslides, just like the red is almost 90% of a landslide, and the orange one is 90% to 60%, and the yellow one is 60 to 30, and the green one is less than 30%. For this example is 2016 in September 26. We predict this spot is a median probability, and it happens. You can see, but as I mentioned, also have some false alarms. The last one I want to show you is a flash flood warning system. This is historical events. They have claimed 5 fatalities, and the last one claimed 6 fatalities. And you can see in this slide is a flash flood image in New Taipei City in Peng. So that's why we developed a flash flood system in New Taipei City to help. And in Taiwan, now we also have some we call the mountain warning, heavy rainfall warning in mountain regions. In New Taipei City, Double Creek Basin, in this year we issued 15 times is the maximum. And I will show you that this is the system developed by NTU system, where we use the predicted rainfall and use the rainfall runoff level and the 1D river model. You can predict 24 hours advance about this water service level. Although what we want to know, because you know the flash floods happen very quickly, so we also have the threshold of the water velocity and the depths. The red zone is dangerous, and the green zone is dangerous. Is safe, sorry. So if those dot is in the red zone, we can issue those warnings to people nearby. Because when you have sometimes you encounter flash floods in no rain condition, because the rainfall is falling in the upstream of the stream. So I think this is very important. We have some. This one is a pilot study. I just show you that we have this system, and we hope maybe to advance and use a different rainfall source and to predict a different probability of the water surface level. In the future, we will use AI-generated 24-hour forecast. This is a Kanu example developed by our center. So in the future, we'll use this AI rainfall to this flash flood warning system. Thanks for your listening. This is my presentation.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Lin. It's okay. Thank you, Dr. Lin. There were lots of the new technical about a flash flood. So later on, we will have a panelist to talk about issues. So right now, I will give the floor to the Valerine's Barbier, and she is the head of expertise sale from the Brussels, Belgium. Valerie, the floor is yours, please.
Can you hear me?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
please. Our meeting room want to share the slide for the veterans, please.
Thank you.
Yes, it's okay. Yeah.
Next slides, please. Next. Okay. This is my pleasure today to share with you our experience about a disaster in Belgium. And this proposal was made in association with Gary. It was a very nice experience. In July 2021, a natural disaster struck Europe and Belgium. Torrential rains raked throughout the country, causing many fatal casualties and destroying properties and infrastructures. A first peak of rainfall was detected on the evening of the 13th July 2021, followed by 2 others over the following days. The gust of wind and the large volume of water they felt were unprecedented in Belgium. Several rivers broke their banks, unable to contain the surging water. the speed of this extraordinary natural phenomenon was extreme. The water level rose in two phases. A first prolonged flood phase, after which flood water subsided slightly, then a second phase of fast and significant flooding that subsided more slowly. Next slide, please. Thank you. As a result, the Belgian emergency system were deployed from 13 to 17 July 2021. As you can read on this slide, many people were affected by those heavy rains. Approximately 65,000 homes were damaged. Several regions of the country were heavily hit. Next, please. Thank you. As you can see on this slide, the non-emergency number is separate from the fire brigade number in the Belgian call system. But both call systems were overwhelmed on July 2021 because of the flash flood. One question about disaster preparedness is occupational health for the firefighters. As we know, one of concern about disaster preparedness is wellness continuum of firefighters. Firefighters are exposed to health hazards that are both physical and psychological. The interventions of this catastrophic situation of flash flood in July 2021 can still create a huge emotional impact that can lead to psychological damage such as acute stress, for example, inability to continue work in progress, post-traumatic stress because confrontation with death, compassion fatigue, burnout. All these factors can still, even months after intervention, turn firefighter emotional state into psychological disaster and leads to need of strong psychological support and counseling. The impact of flash flood in Belgium. The initial situation in July 2021 in the southern part of the country was heavily devastated. Large-scale flooding required a balance to be struck between the people to rescue and the resource, including human, to be developed as regard to power condition to access of the victim, lack of staff, obstruction of access route, complexity and risk associated with access to victim, power, weather condition, rescue operation alarm down. The dynamic situation with its negative trend was also a problem. The intervention duration and situation were lengthy, deteriorating by the very bad weather condition, the worker exhaustion, the impact on emotional experience, the collective situation management, poor coordination, delays in implementing certain emergency support, the poor transmission of information and decision-making, error in information and inaccurate assessment of the reality in the field, insufficient number of first responders involved. In addition, the field worker management developed poor information flow, lack of communication and coordinator between the field workers. Oh, sorry, next slide, please. Next. Oh, I forgot to say next slide. I'm sorry. Next. No. Next. Okay, good. Sorry. The crisis phase alert. The Minister of the Interior declared the federal crisis phase on July 2021, thereby initiating strategic coordination at national level. The aim was to structure a chaotic situation, as I said, on a significant scale to organize cooperation with all the relevant authorities. But critical infrastructures were severely damaged or inoperable, as you can see on the right part of the graphic. First responders and supporting organizations could not perform response activities due to loss of facilities and equipment. Local capabilities and mutual aid agreements were exist and exhausted. Some resources stopped were strained or potentially unavailable. Span of control was impractical during the first several operational period. The consequences were situational awareness took days to be performed, and there was so little information sharing and information received. Workforce absence will complicate the restoration and operation at all critical infrastructure facilities. Next slide, please. Next, please. Thank you. Some of example of disaster consequence. During the rescue operation, first responders were faced with a whole of series of major difficulties and with a deterioration of their operating condition. For example, destruction of communication road and bridge. Next slide, please. The speed of the current and the noise associated with the stream made a loud noise. It was not easy for the firefighters to locate the victim. Let's go to the next slide, please. Urban area devastated and flooding structural damage to infrastructure, for example, the bridge, and the obstructing passage that progress of emergency service was very difficult. Next slide, please. During the rescue operation, as you can see, first responders were faced with a whole series of major difficulties access to certain flooded area. Next, please. Thank you. And exposure to shock people, urban area devastated and flooded. As you can see, it was very difficult to locate this victim on the floods. The next slide, please. Thank you. And some additional trouble for the firefighter intervention. For example, vehicle trapped on the water. Next, please. Flood fire station. Next, please. Intervention vehicle swept away by water. Next, please. Thank you. But from crisis to disaster, faced with the magnitude of the crisis, the call center were totally overloaded, with the consequence of, next slides, please. With the magnitude of the crisis, the authorities were overwhelmed by the sheer volume of needs, access difficulties in the field, a lack of adequate equipment. Major problems persisted over time. No direct rapid response to support the work of the first responder. Lack of coordination between response services. Poorly defined roles and responsibilities. No natural disaster contingency plan for heavy rainfall. Lack of briefing of crisis team. Time waste setting up support system. Criticism by the media regarding the lack of preparedness and organization due to a failure to adapt the circumstances of this disaster. All these factors contribute to the breakpoint and the subsequent loss of control over the crisis management. Yes, the crash in red on the graphic. Faced to the situation, sorry, next slide, please. Faced to the situation in Wallonia, my commanding officer, the Bus de Warna, decided to send some support to Wallonia because it was a really very big crisis and disaster. But in Brussels, what about the food risk? Next slide, please. Thank you. As you can see on this slide, this map is based on topographical modeling which identifies area of waterlogging, concentrating runoff of flood expansion. It also been produced on the basis of flood observation gathered by the firefighter Brussels. This flood hazard map identifies area where flooding could occur as a result of overflowing rivers, runoff, temporary rise in the water, even in places where no flooding has been recorded to date. The absence of an hazard zone on the map does not guarantee that flooding will never occur, as certain causes of flooding are not taken into account, such as a local defect of the drainage system. What we can have of some no catastrophic floods in Brussels. Next slide, please. For example, the city tram circulation obstructed by the water. Next slide, please. Flooded railway tunnel. Next, please. Thank you. Flooded road tunnel. Next, subway out of service. Thank you. Urban traffic slowed down by rising waters. Next, thank you. What we have learned about this crisis management and feedback over this flood reveal a number of well-known problem areas, including difficulties in obtaining a complete and coherent assessment to the situation, problem in information transition, overloaded people of communication, power failure, overloaded emergency number, weak coordination between stakeholders, crisis communication by the authorities, weak rank contingency plan, importance of providing emotional support to the rescue team. But for the firefighters, what we have learned. Next slide, please. The firefighter saw and experienced the deterioration of the intervention situation over several days. They saw victims in distress on several occasions. They had to rush and intervene without adequate resources of necessary report. They were exposed to potentially traumatic situations. They experienced difficulties in locating all the victims due to poor communication. They experienced physical and emotional exhaustion. The uprising issue now is, what about the occupational health of firefighters and the potential occupational distress in disaster intervention? The stress continuum is one of the factors that we are now focused. Too much stress or stress carried or too long stress can push someone into the orange of the red zone of the stress continuum. Next slide, please. This one. The red zone is the bad zone. The end of the stress continuum is where someone is experiencing anxiety, exhaustion, and burnout. because their level of stress is too high. This stress frequently occurs when the amount of stress exceeds the resource. Most distress among firefighters can come from the actual perceived losing control of the intervention and lead to emotional breakdown. As you can see on the red zone, is a high risky situation for the health of the firefighters. How distress appear on the surface can vary greatly between firefighters, but they might feel anxiety, repose, excessive fatigue. Next slide, please. And what about the stress continuum about human factors and resource and human resource management? What we have learned about these flows is the fact that the workload of firefighter is heavier than the regular intervention at 3 levels. Physically, the potential fatigue and the lack of strength. At level of mentally, potential loss of alertness. At the level of emotional, potential traumatic impact. Next slide. To avoid the red zone, the bad zone for the stress of the firefighter. The reality is stress exists on a continuum from good stress to distress. Good stress is the stress that challenges and motivates the people. Good stress helps us to grow and develop as human beings. But, however, there comes a point on the continuum of stress, of good stress becomes distress. And when stress stops being motivating, instead becomes overwhelming. In this context of crisis management, this is crucial to be aware of occupational stress at any given moment of the intervention, so the firefighter know if they are being challenging, good stress or overcome distress. For example, the exposition of the potentially traumatic situation that became increasingly more traumatic as the disaster unfolds. Next slide, please. Our focus now is to consider mental fitness is just as essential as physical fitness for the duty. On the green zone. And for that, next slide, please. We try to train, to read and prevent stress. The job of firefighters, as we have seen, can often be stressful and sometimes have a toll on mental health. Mental fitness is just as essential as physical fitness for duty. Mental preparation to crisis management, natural disaster, therefore requires to train and reinforce the skills and the resilience of these first fire and first responders. For example, focus on awareness. Stress injuries can be caused by a light threat due to an experience of death-provoking terror. Accumulative stress due to accumulation of stress from all sources over time. Next slides, please. My first conclusion. The representation and the disaster situation, the sense making, are characterized by the absence of control and the difficulty or impossibility of managing the causes consequence of a disaster. Anticipation strategy based on preparedness do not cover all crisis situations. This means that field workers, such as the emergency services, have to carry out a dynamic diagnosis to the actual situation based on information of the real. Next slides, please. The first responder catastrophic event need to fit to the job. In the event of a negative development, emergency service has to adapt quickly to maintain as much as control as possible over the situation or certain aspect on it. However, under intense stress, high time constraints, some responders may have a distortion of the situation. They can lead to error of a very bad perception of the situation. Mental preparation to crisis management disaster is therefore required to train and reinforce the skill and resilience of the first responder. Next, please. The anticipation strategy based on preparedness is one solution, but there are other solutions. For example, sharing experience, learning dynamics in terms of human resource management and their experience in this kind of situation. Thank you for your interest.
Thank you, Valerie, and you have a wonderful talk. And I have short questions. Actually, you talk about a human being because they were more extreme weather in the future, especially the flood. And such this kind of event will make the human being, the stress will be stronger and stronger in the future. So you mentioned about lots of issues about that. I remember I read a lot of books about the disaster and the health. And such a kind of issue is also very important, especially a very huge disaster. Okay, however, I have a short question to you because you gave us lots of a phone number. 1722 is a disaster. For us, something like issue like this. I'm wondering, 1722 is who get a phone? Emergency department or fire department or water department? Who got the phone call?
It was a big national crisis because the services could not perform together and the firefighter service were totally overwhelmed. And the late organization at national level could explain one part of the disaster and I'm looking for the word, the destruction of so many structures and houses. Can you read me?
Yeah, understand. Yeah. So right now I will go to the panelist stage, and my first topic will be about leadership and collaborations. So maybe I would like to ask the Dr. Huang and or Dr. Xiao first, because the New Taipei City collaborate with various agencies and stakeholders together to protect the climate change issues, especially the extreme weather and heavy rain and also flood emergency. How you make more successful about the leadership and the collaborations? And the same question also to the Dr. Yun-Fang, because you know the cultural difference. What's the difference? Because from the Valerie's introduction, totally different concept about the disaster happened. Valerie, by my point of view, more focused on the stress, human beings, and about the humans beings is totally different compared with Eastern Asia cultures. So maybe probably you can have some comment about this. And Valerie, and probably you can give us some comment about the New Taipei City. Do you have any kind of suggestion what they can do? Because I think their digital tools is very, very wonderful. There's such a kind of tool can help the other country. Do you have any kind of suggestions or comment about this? So probably the Dr. Huang or Dr. Xiao, you can answer the question first.
It's Gary from New Taipei City. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you Leadership is a very, very, very big issue because actually I think we are all partners. So actually, like people in New Taipei City EOC now, our partners, if we have the same objective to deal with, and we will say partners. So actually, our only leader is the mayor. He's the commander of this EOC. Actually, leadership is not easy to do, but I think cooperate will be easier. Because maybe to lead the way may not be wrong because the direction may be wrong. So collaborate with partners will be better than just only follow the orders. So that's how EOC cooperate people here to have meetings during typhoon, before typhoon, not during typhoon. So we have to collect every department's opinion to the same objectives, and to do the same thing to share the information to our citizens. So partnership will be better than leadership during emergency response. That's my point of view. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Probably I will keep going to ask Dr. Xiao because New Taipei City already have a very mature net zero plan. You have New Taipei City have a climate change policy, just I know. Mitigation and adaptation. All of this is under your city goal about this one, right? Probably some people from the Bureau of Environment can answer these questions, please.
Yeah, thanks for the note from our partner from Environmental Protection Department. Actually, I think because the net zero goal is a national goal. It's not only effort from city government. The national goal is very important. And based on the policies, New Taipei City is the first city provide the voluntary local review for SDGs. Yeah, so New Taipei City published the voluntary local reviews in 2021, and the Climate Action White Paper 2022, but in Chinese, right? So in Chinese. So city government are in the action, yeah, but the policymaker, I mean central government is more important because like I hear about leadership, so partnership is more important than leadership. But the leadership provide a goal for the national goal, and the cities will find more supporters, not only governmental, but also private sectors. And so I think New Taipei City is ready, but the Taiwan is ready. I can't say that. We will see. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I will give the floor to Dr. Chen, please.
Hello, thank you very much for the opportunity. I think there are two areas I would like to address. First of all, in terms of leadership, I think it's about how do we define leadership. And I think from us, we started to really look into leadership as an initiative, is a proactive, engage with the climate actions. So which means that if we are using a pragmatism sort of approach to engage, to facilitate that people's participation, and then it's about how each agencies will sort of proactively engage with the conversation. And I think from the emergency response perspective, I think in the UK we have the joint the JCIP framework, so it's kind of encourage the interoperability, to encourage the joint decision making model, so that kind of allow the the leadership from different agencies to be able to share and coordinate ideas. And then at the same time, we also encourage the civic society to engage with the climate action. So it's kind of how we can actually become leader ourselves. So it's kind of a slightly different sort of perspective. And the other second area I would like to address is from the attention to the human beings. I think especially after COVID, we started to see the increasing number of the mental health issues. I think in the UK, for example, in the youth, in the adults, and I think then we started to really promote the positive action about mental health, because I think we need to recognize that it's almost similar to the physical health, that we need to have that balanced attention. And I think I want to refer back to Valerie's points about for especially for the first responders, if they cannot look after themselves well, they cannot look after other people. But of course, we wanted to say that it's not only for the emergency responders, but for the whole society. We need to promote that recognition of mental health, and then we can then work together to see how we can enhance the mental health level. Thank you very much.
Yeah, for Dr. Chen, you mentioned probably the Eastern Asia care about how to rescue more people, not the the stress of mental health. Focus on the
I think now there is a shift. So from the Sentai framework, we know that we wanted to move the shift to, if we can prepare better before disaster happen, we are more resilient. Yes. So which means that it cover, all sort of physical or mental health consideration, we can be prepared.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So in your course, especially your disaster management course, such as kind of mental issue, I'm wondering how much percent can cover, because from the Valerie's introduction, I'm very interested about what she talked, and in the real in your Coventry University, is this very important about the disaster management, or just one small part of that?
Okay, so in our curriculum, of course, we look into how we can support the mental health situation. So I think we have a progressive curriculum. So from undergraduate, from year one, we started to look from the individual's mental health, but then we started to, from year 2 and 3, we started to progress, to look into how we can actually pay attention to the mental health during and post disasters, both for the emergency responders and also for the affected communities, because in the communities that have been affected, the public, they also need support. So we are looking to different strategies and measures to how we can support the help. And then we also work in line with the Sophia project, the minimum standard, looking to how we can plan for the arrangement for this mental health support. So this is also embedded in our master course as well.
Yeah, such as kind of new Taipei City government, and they have a very good digital system to help them to prevent the extreme weather. I'm wondering, is there any good example in the world? Such as kind of example can also, can it possible to maybe not explore, is to share into the other country? Is this possible?
Sorry, is it a question for me?
Oh, okay. I mean, such is a good example from the new Taipei City, their digital platform, or EDP or EMIC. They are very wonderful. They have a practice already, and such is kind of the innovation or co-working collaborations. Is it good for you or the other country to share and to do in the future because of the extreme weather or climate change?
I think it's always nice to be able to share information. I think the first presentation, we are saying that if we can capture more information and if we can have more sort of systems to validate that information, then actually we can have more precise information, and then we can then look into not only the predict of the situation, but also looking into the impact of the weather situation locally. So I think it's kind of it would be nice that all the agencies or states work together to share that information.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you. I will give the floor to Valerie. And what's your opinion about when you listen from the case from the Taiwan, Taipei, New Taipei City, and also the Dr. Chen's idea? Do you have any idea?
What I can say is that under eye of extreme time constraint, intervention can lose the sense of control, of the sense of sense-making of the situation, and they can experience a break point of emotional experience. It's very, very negative for them because they are supposed to intervene on very and high emergency situation. They have to anticipate and they have to keep some mental health in a good issue. Do not see or do not understand that the red zone, a highly risky situation on the mental process and the evaluation of a continuing situation like a disaster is a very bad situation. For me, preparedness to disaster management as regard to the human resources and the potential impact of this disaster is very main issue now because of the climate is changing. Flooding is one of disaster, but there are many other disasters like typhoons, like tornadoes, and the disaster is not always, how can I say that, has to be one part of the degree and the training of firefighters and other agencies. They are involved with this kind of issue and challenges, and not at local level, but at all levels of a country, and more precisely maybe around the world.
Okay, thank you, Valerie. Actually, Dr. Lin, will you have a short comment about this one? Dr. Lin? Oh, short comment, please.
Okay, I think I see a lot of fresh frost pictures in Belgium, and I think in the future, in this platform, we can share about this information for each other's country, and we also face like the mental issues. Melanie just mentioned. They have some. I think it's a very good example. You have a red zone. Maybe in the future they can introduce to the staff in Taiwan. We can do some evaluations and exchange about the technique to prediction of the fresh frost. Is my comment.
Okay, thank you. Thank you all, both you. And by my point of view, maybe in next COP or next lots of COP, because right now the mitigation is not so enough. We are in a red cold, and because global warming is very serious, and so right now we are in a red cold, and lots of the disaster will happen or heavy rain will happen in the future. So such is kind of emergency management and the disaster management is very important. So about, however, right now it's my 11th COP already here, and however, it's very small portion or partial, very limited talk about this one. So probably next COP, we would like to invite all of you to continue to have a progress, a dialogue about this in the future. Thank you all, and probably we take a group photo together. And okay, thank you. Please take a photo together, please.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, you can share 1, 2, 3. Thumbs up. Okay, thank you. Thank you, everyone. Hope to see you in next COP.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye. Thank you.